It's like I kept a journal for 20 years. I've been writing in a journal. And if you go back and read my journal 15 years ago, you will read stories like my poverty. You will hear me talking about my kids with holes in their shoes. You'll hear me talking about food stamps and WIC and government cheese and government milk. You will hear me talking about extreme struggles because that's what I was going through at that time. If you read my journal, you would not understand my words if you did not understand in which context in which I wrote that. In the same way, for you to understand the significance of what Christ is saying, you need to understand the context in which he said this. The Lord said this in the 1st century AD. And in the 1st century AD, the world could not imagine society without salt. Salt in the 1st century was one of the most valuable commodities in the world. Salt was so valuable that people paid themselves wages in salt. Long before there was a check, if you worked a week, they'll pay you wages in salt. Salt was so valuable, they used it for covenants and contracts. So if you want to sign a contract, put salt in one man's hand, salt in the other man's hand, shake hands, deal, sealed. But that was not the highest use of salt in the 1st century. Listen to me. The highest use of salt in the 1st century was not just for seasoning. It was not just for contracts. It was not just for wages. The highest use of salt in the 1st century was to act as a preservative, because they did not have refrigerators in the 1st century. Listen to me. That is, if you did not want something to die, you would pack it with salt. If you did not want meat to die, you would pack it with salt. That is, any place you want to keep away from decay, you would pack that thing with salt. So if you wanted something to stay alive, you would pack it with salt. The Lord says to you right now, you are the salt of the earth. The presupposition of the text